Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. Today's video is going to be a very important video. For all of you who normally just click on, watch a little bit, and then click off because that's what my YouTube analytics tells me, make sure you stick around for this one. This one's actually going to make sense to watch till the very end. It's going to explain a lot about how this market works, and it's also going to give the counter argument to everyone who is worried about high population reports and high availability of these cards right now, but haven't taken a look at the past historical data of how other like cards have performed, which will give you a lot more confident moving forward holding positions in these cards. So let's jump right into it. Obviously, we're talking about the alt arts, right? People are seeing things go absolutely to the moon, right? You're saying, wow, I could have bought an Umbreon for literally 3 months ago in the low 500s, and now it's pushing $700. This must be a pump and dump scheme. I don't want to get hurt. And you're seeing the things like the Garatina selling in the $600 and $700 range. Whereas if you went back, just a couple months to like the Februarys and Marches, this was selling, in the high fours, low fives, very, very regularly. And you're seeing this, and you're convincing yourself, and you're letting others convince you that everything is being irrational right now, and you should not buy, and you should dump these because they're going to come back down. Let me explain to you why that's a fallacy. Okay, let's start out with this Mewtwo from Shining Legends, okay? First up, this Mewtwo's got a lot of similarities with new cards. Came out of the gate really hot, right? 740s, cooled off in a PSA 10 all the way down in the low 300s, right? And then it saw a spike all the way and doubled again into the mid 600s, and now it's been sticking around that range. Now, the Mewtwo's population report, if you didn't know, there's 7,500 of these graded 2,000 PSA 10s. However, let me explain this to you very clearly. We've went through a giant spike, a cooling off period, and another giant spike. So if people wanted to dump during the first spike, they could have. If people wanted to dump because they got scared out during the fall, they could have. And then if people wanted to dump on the way up into the spike again, they could have. All right? So it's went through all this, it's gone stagnant, and still on the market today, there are 12 available out of over 2,000 PSA 10s. So when you start hearing these arguments about, well, the alt arts are only non-available on the market because we're in this pump, just wait till all the supply hits the market. When people, start to dump all their positions. Where are they? Where's all the people dumping the Mewtwo? There's thousands of them out there. Why is there only 12 on the market when it's near its all-time highs? I don't know. Let's look at the Latios, right? Everyone knows this story, right? I mean, it went through the boom in 2021, jumped in the $700, $800, $900 range. It went from 900 to 2,600 and then cooled off down to 15s, and now it's back in the $1,700, $1,800 range. So you could have sold anywhere along these charts, and people will tell you this card's still overinflated, it's pumped up, you need to dump it as soon as possible, right? Pop report, it's high, right? 2,600 total graded, 1,200 PSA 10s, dump it. There's 14 available on the entire market. Why is no one dumping them? Why is no one dumping these cards? Here's another thing you need to think about, okay? Think about this. Where are we in the cycle of the alt arts right now? Where are we? I don't know. I'm asking you. We have no clue where we are during this pump. You do not know. It's like people who sold Nvidia or Tesla on the way up, right? They got out here and it went to the moon. You don't know how far these alt arts could go during this pump. Umbreon VMAX, it could reach $2,000. Garatina, it could reach 1,000 plus. You don't know, but you're getting scared, right? You're starting to make a little money. You're seeing a little bit of appreciation. You have the YouTubers who are very, very fearful of high population reports, even though we've had the strongest market and the most demand ever, which is why the populations are higher, which we'll get to that a little later. And they're freaking out because things are up a little bit. Well, let's see. It's the equivalent of this card going from 900 to about 1,400. That's kind of what we've seen with these alt arts lately. That happened in about a month. That's the equivalent of selling your alt arts right now. That's it. I mean, that's a perfect conclusion of, well, it went from 900 to 1,400. I need to dump. So if you dump right now, not saying you will, but it's possible you miss out on this and this and this, and almost doubling your money again. Oh, and by the way, people always say things are going to come down. They're going to crash. Oh, yeah, things will come down when they reach their top. Where that top is, no one knows. We just started this climb. So after Latios reached this top, it did fall down to 1,500. Remember, everyone's saying dump right now, though, at 1,400. And now it's rebounded all the way in the 1,700s. So even if you would have never sold and held through the pump and the dump, you'd still be up on your money from not selling and not jumping off just because you're getting a little worried and you start seeing some negative news out there of people who are fearful and want to jump ship. Now, again, I don't even own this card. I mean, I do own the Mewtwo GX from Shining Legends because Shining Legends is one of my favorite sets, but I have no reason to pump these. I own some alt arts, not all of them. I'm not trying to pump anything. I'm just telling you, all these people who are playing with your emotions and trying to get you scared because things are moving up, they have not looked at historical data. And they're saying, oh, the market's only, there's not a lot of quantity available in the market because everyone's pumping right now. Once this trend ends, everything's going to hit the market. There's going to be thousands on the market. All of these cards have 1,000 plus pop reports. There's none available still to this day after the pumps and dumps and the rises and falls. Where are they? Could it be people actually want to collect these and actually want to own these long term and aren't worried about the constant whims of the market? Is that possible? Just a thought. Let's move on. Umbreon. There's 50 available on the entire market. Giratina, 26 available. Blaziken, 10. There's 10 Blazikens on the entire market. And Gengar, there's 17. And other alt arts are pretty much the same as these. There's less than 50 alt arts available on the entire market on these cards. When you look at the population reports, we all already know these stories. I'll tell them again, though, right? You got the Umbreon VMAX alt art right down here. 14,000 total graded, 10,700 pop report. But how can it be that there's only 50 available when the card just went from a $500, $600, $700 PSA 10 to a $1,200 PSA 10? Wouldn't everyone want to dump and take their money if it was all about the money? Just asking. I'm just asking here, right? Let's go look at the old the Gengar, right? Gengar alt art right here. 8,900 total graded, 5,500 tens. Again, the Gengar. 17 available out of 5,000 plus graded? How could that be? If everyone's just about the money and trying to dump and pump and dump. I don't know. Oh, the Blaziken. Look at this one. There's only 3,900 graded, 2,700 tens. That's eerily similar to this Mewtwo right back here, right? That's eerily similar to 7,500 graded 2,000 tens. So the Blaziken actually has fewer total graded. There's fewer in existence graded, and it's very similar to the same pop report. However, the Mewtwo stood the test of time. It went through pumps and dumps and pumps, and now it's staying strong. Years and years and years after, and it still only has 12 available on the market. But everyone's going to dump it, right? Everyone's going to dump these cards. And we can look at the, this is the Gengar again. All right. And then people want to make the population report. Alex, you got to go for the low pops. Here's a low pop. Lower. Here you go. Alakazam EX Secret Rare from Fates Collide. Again, only 21 on the market. Still scarce to this day. You can look at the chart, right? Rose, fell, rose again. It's sitting at $530. The pop report on this card is 411 tens out of 2,700 graded. So how can a card with only 411 tens be selling for less than the Mewtwo, be selling for less than the Latios, all the alt arts, even though those population reports are higher? Could it be that the demand for Sun and Moon was higher than XY, and the demand for Sword and Shield was higher than Sun and Moon, and so there's more in existence to quench the demand and the popularity for each era? Would that make more sense? And you know what? To compare apples to apples for everyone, let's take the Mewtwo from XY. Here, it's the top hit Mewtwo from XY versus the top hit Mewtwo from Sun and Moon. Here you go. So top hit Mewtwo, lowest one you can find on the market is in the 500s. In the 500s, price charting data shows this in the 500s. You look at the pop report, it's got 187 total tens in existence out of 1,200 graded. How is it then that it's selling for less than all these other cards with higher pops? I thought it's all about population reports. Oh, and by the way, there's still very little, if any of that available. There's 15 total results available. Guys, anyone trying to scare you out of these markets has not took the time to look at historical data, or they know the historical data, but they just ignore it and they play with your emotions. People get emotional when markets start to move and things start to appreciate. And when they happen too quickly, people really start to get antsy, right? And then you have the negative YouTubers come out and they start to play with your emotions more and talk about how everyone's going to dump these. You better get out while you can. And you get scared out of your positions. And then things run to the moon. And then eventually they're right and things drop off and they make their videos saying things are crashing. And what happened is the card went from $1,000 to $2,000. It crashed down to $1,600 and they pretend that's a crash when they were telling you to sell at $1,100, $1,200, $1,300. This is what happens time and time again in this hobby. So when you're looking at these alt arts, make sure you have all the information before you start making these decisions with a lot of money, because this is the real data. We've seen this trend happen again and again and again and again. The pop reports are a little higher now, just like the pop reports in Sun and Moon were a little higher than XY. But the same trends remain. The top hits have very little, if any, available in PSA 10s on the market. They remain very scarce. They have ups and downs, but a lot of these, the top hits, the top Pokemon, the popular ones, they continue to trend up, right? And these data points that people try to pull, they're just built for whatever agenda they want to show. I don't have an agenda here, guys. If you want to sell your alt art, sell them. If you want to buy more, buy them. I don't care what you do. I just want people to have all the information so they understand what happens in these markets and they're not just afraid of price movement. Price movement happens, understanding why the price movement happens and what historical data has shown us after the price movement starts to stall and drop. That's where the knowledge comes in, and that's what you need to base your future investments off of. So that's all I got today, guys. I really hope this one helps. Let me know in the comments if it did. And as always, my name is Alex. This is Nostalgianomics, and I'll be back here in a new video soon. I'm out.